Hello, and welcome back to Temptations Ballad. We're making a decision. Wait, you can go to the church district again? That's fine. We'll go to the market district. I assume that'll give us more Oh, wait, what? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay, okay. I was just curious. I can curiosity, City Hall, Sheriff's Office. So we'll meet that lad again. We'll do this one. That's what I'm feeling. The City Watch office building was the same today as it always was, severely understaffed and swamped with paperwork. Wes was alone as he hunched behind his desk with a wary grumble. When he first began his job, he figured he'd be busy fighting crime and stopping evildoers instead of becoming a glorified secretary. His back was sore and his eyes heavy. The mountain of paperwork in front of him seemed endless. What he wouldn't do for a little distraction right about now. Yo, Wes! How's my favorite annoying city watcher doing today? What in the world? Wes screamed and jumped so hard that he slammed his kneecap into the corner of his desk. Tears welled at the edge of his eyes as he clutched his leg with a whine. Clody Bonebreaker, where? Wes paused and scanned the room furiously. The accursed hyena, cursed dead, was nowhere in sight. Was he playing a prank on him again? Wes swore that he heard the little rascal just now. Down here! The sheriff ducked under his desk to find himself face to face with his horrible arch nemesis. Yo! How the hell did you sneak down here? Cole smirked as he teasingly rested his head on the sheriff's knee. Oh, what's the matter? You can't honestly say you haven't thought about having me between your legs at some point. Heat immediately flooded the sheriff's face. Absolutely not. The only place I want to see you is behind bars. And more to the point, you're trespassing on City Watch property right now. Cole looked unimpressed. Really? You guys have a big open sign on the front door. Near the bottom of that sign, there's a small text that says, all welcome, except Clody Bonebreaker. He squinted. Oh, I guess you're right. Well, did you add that? I never noticed it the last half a dozen times I snuck in here. Wes crossed his arms and tried his best to look intimidating. Enough of the chit-chat, Clody. What are you doing? As his attempt to look tough melted away at the moment that he felt Cole's fingers dance teasingly across his inner thigh. Wes sat frozen, a face burning. He could only watch Cole smirk as the little rascal pulled himself up and sat snugly on his lap. Wes shivered at the sensation of Cole's warmth rub against his pants. His heart hammered against his chest in a mixture of horror, panic, and slight arousal. All things that the sheriff of the City Watch should not be feeling right now. I noticed that you haven't tried to arrest me all day, and got a little worried. And so I dropped by for a visit. Wouldn't want to deprive you of my company. Cole's low voice was a low purr that sent tingles up Wes's spine. Get the hell off me, bone breaker. I've got work to do. You can't honestly say that any of your work is more fun than trying to catch me. I'm the funnest part of your job. Cole, scanned the small mountain of paperwork on the desk. Firefly Festival security regulations, brawling tournament precautions, mysterious, fainting phenomenon, blah blah. I wouldn't expect a miscreant like you to appreciate the work that goes around here. We're utterly swamped thanks to the festival tomorrow. Wes huffed and began shuffling his paperwork back in order. He noticeably made no effort to push Cole off his lap. Only because he's lulling Collodi into a false sense of security. Obviously. Sure, he's been alone in his office all day, but he wasn't lonely. That would be ridiculous. The City Watch is increasing the amount of safety precautions this year in order to make the festival properly safe for once. All the streets will be lit with pillars of arcane crystals instead of lanterns. Hopefully drunk hoodlums won't be knocking them over and starting fires like they did last year. And we're also using illusionary magic to substitute the usual festival fireworks so that no one's homes gets burned down again. And the brawling tournament, don't get me started. All participants' weapons will be coated with a special wax that blunts any edge or end blade. The goal is to reduce the number of toes and fingers lost by at least 50%. Paying for healers to reattach limbs has been eating into our expenses. Surprisingly, Cole watched him organize his list with interest. Wes would never admit to it out loud, but it felt nice to rant about work to someone who would listen. The hyena leaned over and plucked one of the papers from the pile. What's this about? Fainting phenomenon? Wes groaned and slumped down in his chair. Oh, that. Ever since preparations began for the Firefly Festival, there has been reports of people randomly passing out in the streets in broad daylight. People of all ages, mostly commoners, would kneel over utterly exhausted for no reason. It was as though they just got the life drained out of them. Luckily, it doesn't seem too serious. Most of the victims make a full recovery after a day of rest. Still, we haven't been able to find the source of these faintings. It's making people nervous. Wes sighed and rubbed his eyes warily. He still has so much work ahead of him. He suddenly blinked. Wait, why the hell am I telling you all this? Because you love him? Get the hell out of here, get out of my office, bone breaker. And Cole smirked and grinded his hip against Wes's lap, forcing an embarrassed squeak out of him. Heh, I knew you secretly enjoyed my company. Good thing, too. You're my best source of news for any recent events in the city. Speaking of which, I need to ask you for a favor. The city, you City Watch folks are supposedly good at watching the city, right? Have you run into this specific street urchin? He's around 15 years old, a Siamese cat, and looks like an utter piece of shit. Wes huffed and crossed his arms indignantly. I ain't got time to be tracking down every little street rat around here. If you're looking for urchins, just walk around the Firefly Festival stalls tomorrow. There are plenty of those ankle biters begging for scraps every year. Cole scratched his chin thoughtfully. Not a bad idea. Thanks, Wes. I knew you wouldn't let me down. I ain't doing any of this to help you. Aw, but you did help me in the end. Is there any way I can thank my favorite City Watch sheriff? Wes gulped, his heart suddenly hammering against his chest. Why does he always feel like this around this damn rascal? Cole gave him a sly smirk, and he slid a teasing hand down his abdomen and danced teasingly around the hem of his pants. Come on, Wes. I know you wanna. Deep inside, that proud man of the that proud man of the law is the heart of a pervert. Wes felt his mind was short-circuiting. Suddenly, there were footsteps at the entrance of the office. His coworkers were returning from their lunch break. Wes shrieked before leaping on his feet and grabbing Cole by the scuff of his neck. Hey, let me go, you little... Out! Out! Wes didn't let the hyena say another word. He dragged the rascal across the room and unceremoniously dropped him out the nearest window. Wes slammed it shut before slumping to the ground, his racing heart struggling to calm down. Nobody saw him, right? That damn hyena is going to be the end of me! Romance when. Okay. Oh, okay. We actually get to see the two now. Okay. Sid and Artemi exchanged nervous looks before awkwardly shuffling towards the entrance of the Soul's Arcane Curiosities. The shop's front entrance has been mostly repaired since yesterday's events. The wall now lacked a cart-shaped hole through a wood display. Noticeable cracks and scars from the traces of countless mending spells. Do we have to come back here? I don't think the shopkeeper is gonna be happy to see us again. Sir Sid, we must accept responsibility for our actions. We were the ones who destroyed this shop's storefront. Thus, the least we can do is offer our apologies. I get that, but why isn't Cole here? Oh, he's taking care of business. Artemi scowled and stomped her feet. The little coward refused to come. This is just the best face. I love it so much. I tried to drag him with us, but his illusion magic made him rather elusive. She sighed. I suppose if Cole won't perform his duties, we will have to do so in his stead. Sir Sid, you are rather close to Cole, yes? Perhaps you can persuade him into acting with a single shred of morality sometime. Okay. I've never been a very persuasive person. Plus, Cole doesn't seem like the kind of guy that changed his tune after a conversation or two. Artemi grumbled in dismay. You are right. Perhaps I should try threatening physical violence instead. Bruh. What? No! Cole's such a tiny guy. One swing and he'll crumble into dust. Sid eyed Artemi worriedly. You were so prim and proper yesterday. What happened? I have been studying Sir Maro's teaching techniques and found them most effective. I have been pondering ways to implement them into my daily affairs. Maybe Maro isn't the best person to learn diplomacy from. Perhaps, though you cannot deny his methods are effective. I can see why you look up to this man. Sid sighed and scratched his head self-consciously. I guess. Anyway, are we going to apologize to the shopkeeper or what? Hello? Is the shopkeeper available at the moment? Artemi, this is a store! You don't have to knock. Oh, I suppose you're right. The shop's doorbell jingled pleasantly as they entered. Sid and Artemi took one step into the shop and immediately bowed their heads in shame. Hello, shopkeeper Sol. We came to apologize for accidentally demolishing your front door yesterday. Welcome to Soul's Arcane Curiosities. What can I get you? Oh, it's you too. What? 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 Okay. Sir Clyde, what are you doing here? And why are you wearing a shirt? Oh my god. The tiger, scowled, his eyes, baggy and tired. He straightened out his, ragged overalls and glared at the two with annoyance. Well, seeing as my fighting ring is currently, buried under a pile of rubble, I had to seek new employment. Oh! Artemia gulped and bowed deeply. My deepest apologies, Sir Clyde. Had I shown more restraint yesterday, the tiger sighed and waved a hand dismissively. Stop that. I can't get mad when you're being so sincere and shit. Besides, if I had to choose between finding a new job or getting beaten to death by stone elementals, I'd pick the former. Artemia hung her head shamefully and shuffled behind Sid. By the way, why isn't Cole with you guys? Oh, he kind of insisted on not coming. Clyde mumbled underneath his breath dryly. That doesn't sound like him. Oh, that does sound like him. Sid awkwardly scratched his head. So, what happened to the old shopkeeper here? Oh, him. So's a pretty old man. When the three of you crashed through his door, the shock gave the poor guy a heart attack. He collapsed and was quickly sent to the infirmary. Clyde grimaced. Soul's fine, by the way, but he had to find someone to look after the shop while he rests and recovers. So here I am. Yeah. Yay. Oh, excuse me. So didn't... Oh, God, excuse me. Soul didn't let me go shirtless, though, so I had to go dig up some old clothes for the job. Artemia clutched her chest in horror. I nearly killed an elderly man yesterday? Now, all three of you nearly killed an elderly man yesterday. Sharing the blame is a good strategy for life in general, lass. Artemia was too busy collapsing into a fetal position to hear him. Sid scratched his head awkwardly. On the bright side, at least you managed to find work quickly. Yes, look on the bright side. Sir Clyde's managed to find work. Thank you. Thanks to you giving an old man a heart attack. Clyde glanced at Artemia with concern. Hey, is she alright? Your friend is, spiraling there. Yeah, she does that sometimes. Give her a minute. And Clyde shrugs. Don't think yourself too hard. Hamish was the one who, caught wind of my situation and recommended me to Saul. Hamish did? That's awfully nice of him. Clyde nodded gratefully. He's a good man, always ready to clean up his son's messes. Hamish was the one who helped me start up my fighting ring after my falling out with the blacksmithing guild. Artemia and Sid stared up at the tiger in surprise. You were a blacksmith, Sir Clyde? I mean... That's kind of what I thought from this outfit, but you know, I don't know. The tiger laughed humorously. There was a hoarse and bitter edge to his voice. I wasn't always a blacksmith, a black market dealer, or fighting ring coordinator. That was all means to an end. In the beginning, I set out my goals to become an honest blacksmith. The blacksmithing guild never saw a more talented rookie than yours truly here. As a teenager, I crafted masterpieces and works of art that the guild veterans could not dream of. Clyde chuckled and shrugged regretfully. Gotta admit, getting called a prodigy one too many times inflated my ego somewhat. I was successful, not well liked.
How come you're, not doing blacksmithing stuff? Instead of running an illegal fighting ring? Sounds like a better career option to me.
The tiger fell silent. His gaze drifted as a resentful scowl washed over him.
I would if I could. I ran into a little trouble when I was working at the guild. And by a little trouble, I mean Calliope Bonebreaker.
Clyde sighed.
Maybe I shouldn't go into detail. Wouldn't want to give y'all a bad impression of your new boss.
Sid and Artemi exchanged looks, and both pressed Clyde with a nod. I think I'll end the part here. So I'll see you all around.